If you own a car and you've driven on, well, any highway ever, you know the sound, that awful ping.
Oh, yeah. The dread of the rock chip.
Exactly, that tiny, annoying crater in your windshield. And then you see the temptation. You walk into the auto parts store and there it is.
Yeah.
A DIY repair kit for what, $15 or $20?
Right. It promises a quick fix.
But we hear this from drivers and shop owners all the time. Is that cheap solution really worth it, or are you just setting yourself up for a much bigger headache?
And that is precisely our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack the true trade-off between the low upfront cost of those DIY kits and, the reliability and structural integrity you get from a professional service.
Okay, let's unpack this. We've got sources that compare both methods, looking at the cost, the time, and I think most importantly, the risks you take on when you try to fix it yourself. It all seems so simple on the box, though. You just inject some resin, let the sun cure it. What's the one critical thing that an average person misses?
It really boils down to contamination. And I don't just mean the dirt you can see. When road debris hits your glass, it creates these tiny internal microfractures.
Little channels, almost.
Exactly. And those channels immediately trap microscopic moisture and road grime. That contamination, that's what prevents the resin from forming a perfect structural bond.
So the little suction cup in a consumer kit, it just isn't strong enough to pull all that gunk out.
Precisely. A professional technician uses not just specialized resins, but industrial vacuum pressure equipment. That vacuum doesn't just suck the air out. It actively pulls those tiny moisture particles out from deep within the chip.
So you get complete penetration of the resin.
Right, and you eliminate the air pockets that cause the repair to fail later on.
And the time factor isn't even a real selling point for DIY. We're talking, what, 30 minutes to an hour for a job you do yourself?
And it's about the same for a professional repair, maybe 30 minutes, which usually comes with a warranty.
So where does the real cost difference hit you?
Well, what's fascinating here is the true cost calculation. A pro repair, it might run you between $50 and $150.
Which sounds like a lot next to a $15 kit.
It does, but if your DIY attempt fails, and those contaminants cause the chip to spread into a crack, you are immediately looking at a full windshield replacement, and that's going to cost $200 to $500, sometimes more.
Wait, and insurance companies are actually ahead of the curve on this, right? I've heard they often cover professional chip repairs with no deductible.
They do, because they know that funding a $75 repair now is way cheaper than paying for a $400 replacement later.
But if you attempt a DIY repair that fails, you could complicate or maybe even void a future insurance claim.
You could, because you're the one who introduced the complication. Plus, there's the visibility factor. Those specialized resins we mentioned, they have what's called a refractive index that's nearly identical to automotive glass.
Okay, for those of us who skipped high school physics, refractive index is just a fancy way of saying how light bends through something, correct?
Yeah. Exactly. The professional resins match the glass perfectly, which is why the repair virtually vanishes. The resins in consumer kits often leave these cloudy spots or distortions.
Which isn't just ugly. It's a safety issue. And speaking of safety, you really can't just ignore these things, can you? Temperature changes, like you get in places like Portland, cause the glass to expand and contract.
And that turns a tiny chip into a spreading crack very, very quickly.
So are there situations where you should absolutely not even think about a DIY fix?
Yes. There are definite no DIY zones. We're talking about any chip that's larger than a quarter, anything in the driver's direct line of sight, or, and this is critical, any damage at the very edge of the windshield.
Why is the edge so dangerous?
Because the windshield is actually a structural part of your car's safety cage. Edge chips compromise the bond between the glass and the vehicle frame.
And that bond is what holds the roof up in a rollover.
That bond is absolutely critical for maintaining roof support in a rollover accident.
And now there's a whole other layer of tech to worry about. Modern cars are loaded with 80 advanced driver assistance systems. What exactly are we talking about there?
We mean the cameras and sensors for things like lane keeping assist, automatic braking, cruise control. They're usually mounted right up by the windshield.
Yeah.
Even a minor optical distortion from a poor quality, cloudy DIY repair can interfere with the 8ACE calibration.
So a bad repair can actually blind the car's computer.
It can risk system failures or false alerts. It means your main safety features are compromised, all to save $15.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the knowledge here is just recognizing that the windshield is no longer just a piece of glass. It is a critical structural, safety, and technological component of your vehicle.
Absolutely. So the key takeaway for you, the listener, is this. While DIY offers that immediate low-cost convenience, a professional service gives you proven reliability, a warranty, and it ensures your car's complex safety systems keep working. That's what saves you time, stress, and a lot of money in the long run. It makes you wonder, when you're thinking about any car repair, how often does the quest for a $10 saving actually introduce a $400 risk to your safety? That's something to think about the next time a pebble flies your way.